This is Andi Purewal, Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're here in Manchester and I'm joined by Dave Coldwell. Dave, it's here. Many people didn't think it'd finally arrive, but Amir Khan, Khan-Brook are only a few days away from sharing the ring. We've just seen the pair of them in there with their open workout. How excited are you first and foremost?
Oh, do you know what? I can't wait for Saturday. I was excited before, but turned up here absolutely rammed, even on the balconies and everything. And then when Kel, because obviously Kel did his first, as soon as Kel gets in and the atmosphere, the ramps up and you feel the electricity in everybody watching, can't wait. It's I still don't know who's going to win.
Amir obviously never gave much away during his workout, whereas Cal very much went through, not necessarily a full workout, but gave the fans a little bit to look at what to expect. What did you make of a pair of them in the ring?
I like that. You know, when everybody turns out for a public workout and you're the main event and you just do a little shadow boxing, I just think, oh, do you know what? People want to see a little bit more. Even you can just kind of just do like a little bit of choreographed stuff that's not giving anything away. But no, Kel went through a good little workout there. Looked strong, looked sharp. Looked like he was sitting down on his legs nicely. I like that. But he also looks like he's got a lot of weight to shift still. Looking at his face and how he normally is at weigh-ins, and you know, the forehead, the eyebrows. It does look like he's got a lot of weight to shift there. So for all his sharpness and how great he looks here today, I'll be interested to see what he looks like on Friday at the weigh-in. Amir, like you said, just going through some shadow box routines, didn't give much away. When he lifted his t-shirt up, it looks in good shape. It does look in good shape. Obviously, you'd expect him to because they both work so hard. It's you know, literally a pair of them's last fight. You know, so yeah, you'd expect him to work hard.
People commenting on this fight believe that if Cal's to be successful, it'll be within the first 3-4 rounds. If Amir is, it'll be after that. Is it as easy or as simple as that, or do you disagree?
I don't think so. I genuinely see this fight. It could go a number of ways. There's a rehydration clause in the contract, and I think that is just a disadvantage for Kel. So if he's struggling at the weight, he's not going to take the shots as well. And if he gets caught with a shot he doesn't see amongst a flurry of punches in one of Khan's attacks, it's going to do damage. So I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised and shocked if Khan got rid of Kel early, or vice versa. It's one of those. I just don't see it going the distance. I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't know how long it's going to last. I think it's going to be good while it lasts. I really do. I don't think it's going to be like all cagey and slow motion. I think there's going to be excitement for the fans.
Dave, what do you think it is in particular that people just can't quite maybe separate the pair of them heading into the weekend? Is it just because they're at the back end of their careers and maybe the lack of activity and some of the tough and gruelling nights they've both had throughout their careers, and it is simply a matter of nobody knows what either of them have left to offer?
That's how I've seen it all along. It's not, you can't compare it to what they were when they were at the prime. Whoever wins on Saturday doesn't mean that they won in the prime. It's about who's got what left. And because it's about who's got what left, we don't actually know until they get in the ring. Because we've all seen where people can look great on the pads. You know, you can get anybody looking great on a pads, on a set of pads. But when the shots are coming your way, getting out of the way and taking them, and how do your legs react, and we don't know. And because of that, we really don't know who's going to win. We can think and, you know, rose-tinted glasses, thinking about back when they were at the best. They're not at the best. They are what they are now. And that's what makes this fight exciting. You've got to look at it in a different way. It's not back then, it's now. And the 2022 versions of Khan and Brook are very, very different. And so it's a completely different fight in its own right. And so many different things. I can't see Khan just getting on his bike and looking to pinch it and box and be able to keep it going, keep them legs going for 12 rounds. I can't see that because Kel's got good legs himself. Might not be the fastest, but he positions them well. He's going to be good at cutting off the ring and trapping, and So I don't think it's going to be a hit and move job from Khan for too long. Obviously he'll be moving and raiding, but does he get caught on the raids? Does he catch Kell on the raids? I don't know.
If this had happened 5 or 6 years ago, Dave, what do you think would have happened?
I didn't know then. I think Kell, but maybe I'm a little bit biased because I've watched Kell growing up and I know what his potential is. So I think Kell's a big underachiever on what his potential was, knowing the kid as he grew up and, the time that I had him working with him. And I think potentially he could have done so much more, and yet he's achieved a lot. But yet I think he could have done so much more. I think if you look at the resumes, Khan's got the better resume. Kell still achieved a lot, but I don't think his career kicked on when he won the world title. I don't think he got the big fights that he needed. Obviously he had Golovkin where he jumped up and that was fantastic and a great effort. But then you look at that and you look at Spence, he lost his two biggest fights really as such. So he's been an underachiever. This is what counts. For these two guys, forget about the world titles, forget about the money that they're getting because they've earned millions in the past, so they don't need the money. This is what people are going to remember them for. This is, the fans, the British fans especially, are going to remember them for this fight. You beat so-and-so, or you lost to so-and-so. That's what people are going to remember. And both fighters know this, and that's why when everybody gets out of the ring and it's just Kell and Khan and the referee and the bell's about to go ding, that's why that adrenaline and that electricity and atmosphere is going to be unbelievable, because it's all down to that. Their whole careers are down to that really. Perhaps more so for Kell than Khan, I think. I think Khan doesn't really care about what any of us lot think, fans or people. He's got a great life, he's happy in his life, and he doesn't really take, he's had that much shit in his career. And people haven't given him respect all the way through his career for what he's achieved. So I don't think he cares what people think anymore. It will do to an extent, but not in the same way that Kell will. I think I think it'll hurt Kell more. So who would be hurt most by a defeat? I think Kell.
Dave, we saw the gloves are off recently as well between the pair of them. A lot of people seem to think Amir maybe came out slightly better than that, but what was your take?
I thought Amir did a great job. I thought he was arrogant, he was very, very smug. It made you want to reach across and grab him across that table. And he got under Kell's skin like massively. Everything that Amir would have wanted for that conversation. So he played a blinder. But we all know that Amir's going to tie Kell, in knots in a back and forth chat, because that's not Kell's forte. He does his stuff in the ring, and that's what's going to count. That's what's going to matter, and that's where the fight is going to be won. And plus that was done a few weeks ago. So even if Kell was simmering and burning and ate up because he'd been embarrassed or felt as though Amir got one up on him, he's had time to get over that. Dom's had time to get in his ear over that, and it's a completely different thing on fight night.
Final one, Dave. If I had to push you for a prediction, where would you sway?
If I'm going to say from what I looked on here today, so you're asking me today from based on what I just liked how strong Kell looked in his legs, and so I would say Kell. But then again, also in back of mind, I'm thinking, well, he's got a shitload of weight to lose yet, and let's see how strong his legs are then, because that can change everything. So I still don't know, but if you can ask me today on what I've seen today, I'm going to say Kell, I think.
Moving away from the main event here, just to go back to this past weekend, obviously your charge, Hopi Price, impressive once again on the Jacobs-Ryder card. Just to reflect on his performance for me, Dave.
Outstanding. I was very, very happy with him. I got a Mexican that I wanted to give him rounds, he'd been with Navarrete and people that had been at a good level, and so to rub off some of that experience, and also the way that he boxed, I wanted to see if he'd learned from a fight that he had against Mendoza, where he was going back in a straight line, where he was allowing him to rumble forward, fall forward with right hand. And I know that Roman did the same things. and he ticked all them boxes. Everything that we work on, he did. Everything that I asked him to do during the fight, he did within a split second. Fantastic performance. And I've said all along that this kid's potential is massive, and I genuinely believe that he's going to be a star of the sport. He's just got to be looked after, and he's got to be brought on right. Kind of like old school matchmaking, where the right fights at the right time, not just rushed. Everyone's obsessed about rushing these kids. He's 7 fights in. Yes, he's very good, but his last 3 fights, Roman the other night, which was a 6-rounder and a prelude to a 10-rounder in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, but he beat a 16-1 kid and a 5-0 Italian prospect. So in his last 2 fights before that, so he's coming along nicely. But at 7-0, there's no need to rush him into big title fights and things like that. And I know promoters like to look at it and think, oh, let's chuck him in. No, build a star. Do you know what I mean?
Final one, Dave. Obviously, the main event, Jacobs-Ryder. Mixed opinion as to whether it was the correct result. Did you think John had done enough to nick it?
I'll be honest with you. I thought early doors, I'm thinking, what's Ryder doing? Because I expected the Ryder that fought Callum Smith to come at Jacobs, and I thought if that's the case, I fancy Ryder big, and I did. I thought Ryder was going to win the fight, but then as the rounds are going on, I'm thinking, you're waiting. I thought Jacobs was boxing like a Bernard Hopkins at the end of his career, where he's looking at pinching a fight, stopping the guy from working, pinching, and Ryder was allowing him to, and he was waiting, and then after about 6 or 7, Ryder started catching him with some good shots that registered on Jacobs, and you're kind of thinking, go, because you can get rid of him here. But he allowed it to be close, and for me it could have gone either way. I thought it was one of them fights. It was a close fight. I don't think it was a robbery, but I understand why Jacobs could say, I thought I won the fight. I haven't watched it back, but live, I thought it could have gone either way. But by a round, it's one of those fights for me. It was a close fight. But I did think that Ryder gave the judges, fans, and Jacobs an excuse to believe that Jacobs won the fight.
That was meant to be my final one, but this is my final one, I promise you, Dave. Some talks coming about that, a potential bout between Derek Chisora and Luis Ortiz might happen. Is that something you've discussed at all?
I haven't got nothing to do with that now.
Have you and Derek split? Or?
No, I've just got nothing to do with that. I don't know what's happening. Got nothing really to say.
Obviously, having previously trained Derek then, and provided you guys still work together moving forwards, is that a name you'd be happy to see?
I think it's a good fight for Derek, because at this stage of Ortiz's career, he didn't look that great in his last fight. If Derek's wanting these big fights, it's going to get him into even bigger fights. Then Ortiz, is one where he would relish. The only thing that I would say is that he's a southpaw, so it's not a great fit for Derek. But he did a great job getting Spilker, but Spilker's not Ortiz. But Ortiz is about 153 years old, so if you're ever going to fight him, now's the time.
Dave, we'll leave it there. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for speaking to me in Boxing Social.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.